you just think this is a couple that that photo represents their life. It's chaotic, it doesn't make sense, there's no clarity. You can't really see what is happening as a family unit. This photo represents the state of this couple's marriage and their life in general.
Breaking right now, it's official. Meghan Markle has been named by the Mega Ranker website as the most disliked celebrity of 2024. She beats P. Diddy, folks, and her close mate Ellen DeGeneres. What's most mortifying for the Sussexes, though, is that actually Prince Harry isn't far behind. And look, also on the list, Oprah Winfrey, who used to be the queen of American television before she became entangled into the web of lies that the Sussexes propagate. And while it might be too late to save her reputation, she has now decided to cast Meghan and Harry adrift, not even bothering to invite them to the 70th birthday celebrations of her BFF Gayle King. But this is an absolutely damning verdict on Meghan and Harry's 2024, which, as we know, saw the once supportive woke left-wing media turn on Meghan, with The Hollywood Reporter even detailing bullying allegations against her by American staff members. P-Dina, royal YouTube sensation, joins me now. P-Dina, I mean, goodness me, to be less popular than P. Diddy in 2024 is saying something. And what's most fascinating is pretty much half of the list is in some way connected to Meghan. You've got Ellen DeGeneres, you've got Oprah Winfrey, and her own husband. What's going
It's
on?
It is really fascinating to
Yeah.
me. And I think it is a wake-up call to a lot of people that don't know what's going on in terms of, well, what has she done? Why would she be on this list? Because there are a lot of people that don't understand the fascination or why people don't like this woman. But I think it sends a clear message that there is a there there. There is something going on. And you see her connection to people that are shady, that have had bad dealings in Hollywood. And it really gives you the confirmation behind the scenes of the things that she has been doing that it's just not acceptable. And people need to understand what she's trying to do, because she's going to try. She's going to try to do everything she can to pull her rank in Hollywood. But things like this, talking about it, having this ranking, it really gives us cause and pause to stop and say, okay, what is going on with this woman? And now people can look and take their time and understand, because you really should focus on that, because she's doing charity work. She's trying to do things that affect everyday Americans. She's doing things in my space with charity work. And I think people really need to check her. She needs to be checked for the things that she is doing. And this just gives us cause to say, okay, we got to pay attention to what's going on with her. And this ranking really shows us that people are probably more than likely going to do just that. And I'm glad to see it.
Isn't this impossible to turn around now, P-Dina? I mean, if you are a brand, because for people who don't know, by the way, Ranker is a massive website. And what it does is tracks the views of quite literally millions and millions of people around the world. And doesn't this finally show that if you're a brand, it's toxic to invest? I mean, no brand is going to invest at the moment in P. Diddy. Now, whether you believe he's innocent or not, that's not the point. The point is that his reputation at the moment is smashed. Now, Meghan Markle may not be in jail, but the fact that she is higher than him on the list is surely the final nail in the coffin of the idea that she's going to continue receiving these multi-million-dollar deals from the likes of Netflix.
Now, what I find interesting, think about it. P. Diddy has a multi-million-dollar empire. Meghan and Harry are essentially trying to get started with theirs, and they rank higher than P. Diddy. So, what does that tell you? That tells you that they're going to have so much trouble trying to get any brand deal off the ground. they might as well just give up. And I think that's what Harry has actually done. This is why he is trying to go back and, live as a royal, try to make himself appear more royal like. They're no longer together in purpose with their branding. And Harry sees the writing on the wall. This is a wake up call for you, Harry. You need to get out because you're going to continue to go down. And Meghan, she has no shame. I don't think she really cares. For her, she's just going to keep trying because that's the tenacity in her as an actor. She sees it as something that's not good, but she doesn't look at it that way. But
The
Harry, this is showing you that this marriage is definitely divided, and you can't possibly build on something that is already being knocked down by so many people. I mean, you just look at everything in social media. People are constantly calling her out with everything. She went to New York trying to schmooze with business owners and investors. That was a dud. She didn't get anything from that. And you are a duchess of the UK, and you can't even get a deal with people that are investing in businesses with a title. You can't get that. It's hopeless, and it's like I sit and I watch and I think, yeah, just get your popcorn, folks. Let's see what else she's going to try to do, because it is literally so fascinating to me to watch her continue to try and just get shut down every single time. It tells you something. It tells you there's something wrong with me. There is something that I am doing that I need to correct before I continue on this venture to make it and to try to brand myself with these different products and what everything else that she's trying to do. I mean, we know her American Riviera Orchard, she can't even get that copywritten. So there's something going on that she needs to pause and take in what's happening and reevaluate. But she won't. This is telling you she just doesn't want to listen and to get the support. She needs to do the right thing, not even for herself. So she won't do the right thing for other people. I mean, it's such a lost cause.
Well, look, you're right to say something is going on, though, because when you crunch the figures, it's extraordinary. She
Yeah.
is more than twice the most disliked celebrity in the world, more than twice the level of dislike than P. Diddy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it feels like even most of the woke base have now deserted her. And you can see that in the coverage, can't you, P-Dina? Because The
Mm.
Guardian now writes really bitchy pieces about Polo. The Cut, which once described her as Meghan of Montecito, now reveals that all of her projects are flopping. It's fascinating. Look, we were right, and it's not about the fact that I say, oh, we're right. It's more just quite fascinating to me that even her base has now turned.
Yeah. And I think what you have to look at is in business today with social media, your personal life is very much more aligned and connected to your brand in terms of what you're selling, what you are trying to your services. And I think people see her personal life and what a disarray it's in right now, with no relationship with your father and how you have treated the royal family, that the false accusations around racism, and people see these things. And I think this is what is causing them not to really align with her and her brand, because they see how she is on a personal level, because they're so connected today with social media. And that's part of the issue. So it's fascinating to watch it happen in real time. I think this is something that has given us cause to reevaluate a lot of things when you're trying to brand and in your personal life is not going well, because people look at how you are as a person and make decisions whether or not they want to support your brand. And that's what we see here. They don't like what she's done on a personal level. They don't like what she's done to Harry, taking him out of the United Kingdom as a prince. I mean, there's a lot of things, but I think that's just, something that people think about more. And this is why people don't really connect with her. Even the very woke people, they see that because they are, I mean, I think I look at the example of the Kardashians, I mean, they're as woke as you get, right? And, they themselves have a very tight knit family. People look at how they treat their families, and
Yes.
people still support their brands, right? Because of how they are
Absolutely,
as a
because it's like,
family.
okay, yeah, you're maybe not perfect, but I love the fact that actually blood is thicker than water for you. There's something about the Kardashians where actually that is a lovely aspect of what
Right.
they are. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in carbs or fat or even in probiotic rich foods. No, the end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he has seen thousands, yes, thousands of people dramatically improve their health even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health that they had in their youth once they simply addressed this one key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic and he feels younger and healthier than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date, and you can watch it and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. It's linked at the bottom of this video, but he'll teach you exactly how he has kept his weight off for free at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. Click on the link in the description below this video. But now, back to the show. Look, I want to speak about that really odd looking bloke. He's called Omid Scobie, you know who I mean. Because
Yeah.
he seems to be the only one, really, the only one. He's on his little life raft, P-Dina, and he's sinking into the ocean, and he's thinking, what can I do?
Yes.
How can I save my girl, my money maker? And so do you know what he's decided to do, P-Dina? I find it hilarious, by the way. I'm not even offended. I
Mhm.
find it hilarious. He's decided to attack us. So, let me look. Royally Sage actually was the one that pointed out this post to me because I don't look at Scobie or scabies as Lady
Mhm.
C calls him. And she said, Omid describing himself, except the YouTubers are making more money than him these days. So this is his way that he thinks that he's offending us, P-Dina. He writes,
Okay.
requirements to become a royal commentator expert in 2024-2025. Zero journalism experience, be totally unhinged, an unhealthy interest in kids you don't know, hardcore royalist, happy to do GB News, rude word YouTube shows for pennies, limited vocabulary, own a USB mic. And the irony there, of course, is that no one is more unhinged than Scobie because journalist P-Dina, and remember, I'm the journalist that broke the story of Megxit, that broke all of the stories about her time within the royal family, right? Journalists
Right.
are meant to listen to both sides of the story and work out what is
Right.
true. And that's always what
Right.
I've done. Now, even when I was breaking these stories, I always wanted to hear the other side of the story and I wanted to know what Harry and Meghan were thinking. Why have they made the decisions they're making? Some of the reasons were ridiculous, right? But he's never done that. He's a
No.
propagandist. He just calls up her latest PR body, and what's hilarious is they're always sacked after a few weeks and says, "Oh, what can I say now?" But what did you make
Mhm.
of his? Because we know he's talking about us, P-Dina, right?
Right.
We know he's
Right.
talking about us. So what's your response to Mr.
Hey.
Scobie?
Get with the times. If people want to listen to what we have to say, I'm not a journalist, but I'm saying very valid things that connect with people. My platform is all about learning. Get with the program. I mean, you as a journalist for Omid, he needs to look at both sides. And this is so similar to what Meghan and Harry do. They just want to hear what they want to say. They don't want to hear and listen to the other side. And this is where you're falling short. You're very one-sided, Omid. You don't really come to the table with anything relevant for people to want to listen to because you're not giving perspective on both sides. And the one thing that I do is I look at what people would do in their own families. How would Omid uh, act if his family was being dissed by someone like a Megan and someone's telling his grandmother, or dissing his, family member. How would he feel about that? I mean, he's so quick to protect and to take up for Harry and Meghan, but if they were doing the exact same thing to him and his family members, it wouldn't be okay. So he's irrelevant in terms of that. He can say all he wants to say. He's not being authentic. He is not giving the information in the way that makes it balanced and in the view of a journalist like you do, Dan. And this is the problem with him. This is why he'll never be able to get people to really listen to him, because he says things as a mouthpiece for Harry and Meghan. He's just as bad as they are. I mean, look at what he did when he had his book that just came out, and how he secretly, and I believe he did do this, secretly put out the names of these royal races, how he had that leaked within the translation of his book for the Dutch version.
Yes.
That's very unethical. I mean, you're talking about other people and what they've done. Look at yourself. Try to better yourself. Be accountable for what you have done. Don't come to us, because we're definitely doing things that matter in terms of the people that listen to us, because it is making sense. It's relevant and it's the right thing, because you have to check people that are behaving like Harry and Meghan. And Omen doesn't want to do it. So shame on him. I think people need to give him what he's trying to dish out. No one's listening to him. He can go kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. Okay. He has nothing to say that's relevant.
Well, and remember, P-Dina, it was Mr. Scobie who was the one who posted a countdown clock to the announcement of Catherine, the Princess of Wales, having cancer. It was all just a joke to him. It was all just a game to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And he was the one who had to delete that. I mean, it was just a revolting thing, the exact
Yeah.
time. So all
Yeah.
I'll say is we will not take moral lessons from Mr.
That's right.
Scobie, will we? But look,
No,
I
not
want
at all.
no, but I want to talk about this Christmas card, P-Dina.
Hmm. Hmm.
You wrote, can we talk about what a disgraceful holiday card this is? The self-indulgence of their performative charity work, and that non-picture of a family photo looks so fake and contrived. I see deception. So I want to hear from you on this, P-Dina. Tell me everything. Where is the
Oh my
deception?
goodness. When I first saw that photo, I could not believe it was real. Now, when you just had that up, you could, even as small as it was, you could make out all the pictures in there, but the one picture in the middle looks like a speck, a blurb, a smudge of something. You can't even tell what it is. And that is on purpose. They purposely took a photo that looks so contrived with different kinds of problems in it. We see the fingers of Harry, the arm of Meghan, the kids. Lily looks like a giant compared to Archie, and you just think this is a couple that that photo represents their life. It's chaotic. It doesn't make sense. There's no clarity. You can't really see what is happening as a family unit. This photo represents the state of this couple's marriage and their life in general. You can talk about all the discrepancies in these photos, they're everywhere. And it almost looks like it's on purpose to me. And I think that gives you cause to stop and think, is Harry trying to prove something by how everyone jumps on the bandwagon and talks about things and how they get elevated and heightened? We know he talked about that during the Deal Book Summit. They're probably trying to prove a point, but the point that they're really proving is how this marriage is very similar to what that photo says and what it says to me. They're performing. They're trying to show us that they're a family unit. They're happy. They're mimicking a move very famous by Diana with the arms open wide like this. At this point, this is on purpose. You're really showing us who you are as a married couple, a brand, whatever you want to, how you want to look at it, branding, personal, whatever, a couple, a family, your marketing abilities as a charity, or Archwell Productions. Everything is chaotic within this couple, because that right there in the center, surrounded by all these different photos, it makes no sense. It's like, why even put that photo there when you're showing your
Mm.
your charity work? it doesn't make sense. And it just really gives you insight into this couple on a personal level. That's how I see it. And the performing is disgraceful for me. You're just performing and trying to show yourself as being morally on the right track around helping and supporting people when we know that couldn't be further from the truth. It's really given an insight into this couple in a big way. And I
Big
think
time.
people can see it now more than ever just by looking at that card.
Big time. It says it all, doesn't it? Another aspect of the card, though, that was pointed out nicely by Torre Bakahi on X, who wrote Prince Harry's father is head of the Church of England, and his now wife chose to be baptized and confirmed into the faith by the Archbishop of Canterbury before their Christian marriage. Yet their Christmas card reads, Happy Holiday Season. What a tawdry, traitorous pair. The way a couple of unemployed, talentless vulgarians living in a republic still use British royal titles and refer to their office
Yeah.
also highlights how gruesomely embarrassing they are. When is Britain going to
Mhm.
call a halt to their fantasy life? And I mean, P-Dina, I couldn't agree with all of those points, by the way.
Mm.
It's like, why are you trying to turn on Christianity? Number one, because you cling to all of the aspects of the royal family. Well, of course, King Charles is the head of the Church of England. That matters. That's
Mm.
important. And it's so true, isn't it? The office, the titles, they have to go. They have to go because this is going to start to be a drag on the British royal family. You don't want to
Right.
have the most disliked celebrity in the world walking around with a title, right?
Right. Isn't this what the queen always said, the late queen? I mean, you
Yes,
just
doesn't
can't
work.
mix, your marketing with the royal family and trying to do things outside of the royal. I mean, there should be a close look at the titles because I think at this point they're going to continue to push the boundaries, continue to do things that are not aligned with the royals in the UK. And I just don't understand why something hasn't happened at this point. I think there would be a tremendous amount of support for the king for removing the titles. The children are so secretive at this point. Why are they having titles? Why do we do things to support something that you don't know what their next move is going to be? You don't know if they are plotting and planning to go against you in a bigger way by starting with these little small things. It's almost like you have to protect yourself and protect your value. And I think not doing that is just opening yourself up for things to come that you don't know what it could be. So I'm really concerned about that, to be quite honest. It's something needs to happen.
Yeah, no, it does. P-Dina, fascinated to know what you think about the Prince Andrew situation because I'm not
Mhm.
necessarily with the majority on this. I think it's wrong to exclude him from Christmas Day. I know it was his choice officially, but he's now in exile, essentially. They'll force
Mhm.
this man into exile because of the media headlines. Now, Christmas is a family day. I've been
Mhm.
so highly critical of Harry and Meghan for the way they have treated their family over Christmas. And what we've got Prince Andrew
Mhm.
sitting at Royal Lodge alone with Fergie, without his children, not around his family. I mean, this is it now. He is in exile. It's
Mhm.
hard to see how he comes back from this. But when it comes to the Chinese spy, and he's an alleged spy, of course,
Mhm.
because he denies it. He strongly denies it. The Chinese government strongly denies it. But Yang Tengbo also met with the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Cameron. Look, there he is with David and Samantha Cameron. He's also been pictured alongside Theresa May, another former Prime Minister. So, yet again, Andrew is the scapegoat. Now, I'm not defending everything Andrew's done, but I don't like the fact that he's not going to Christmas Day. Not everyone agrees with me. Angela Levin
Mhm.
thinks he shouldn't be there. Where do you stand on this, P-Dina?
Well, I think going to church and being a part of a celebration for your family is a time for also forgiveness to atone for past mistakes. And I think perhaps he should be afforded the opportunity to do just that. Perhaps he should be allowed to go. I think that would set the tone for, what we're seeing. He doesn't come out and speak out against his family. I mean, not anything that I've heard. But at the same time, I think there was talk of him maybe doing a book, like Harry has done, maybe trying to test the waters. But I think as long as he is continuing to, not do things that will cause problems for his family, he should be allowed to go. But I think the spy thing is a little bit more concerning because, he doesn't have any really accountability to anyone. He could be doing things purely innocently, but maybe the spies or whoever the alleged spies are trying to get information from him through his connections. So you really have to be careful. I mean, I think that's something they should definitely, be very concerned about, because you don't know what he's talking to them about. But for the church thing, I think you should be allowed to do that for those reasons around forgiveness and atoning for your sins and those kinds of things. It's important to do because he has been pretty good. I mean, when you say he's hasn't done or said anything that I can see
Well, the thing
that
is as
should
well,
prevent
P-Dina,
him.
come on, what do you want to drive the man to? Like, do you want him to be writing a book about the royal family? Remember, he has
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
done any of the things that Harry and Meghan have done. And we've criticized Harry and Meghan so much for slagging off your family, cashing in on the royal name, writing a
Mm.
vile book, making a terrible TV show. Andrew hasn't done
Hasn't
any of that, okay? Now,
right.
what do you do when you push such a desperate man into a corner? And I
Yeah.
also think
I
about the
agree
late
with you.
Queen, and I
Yeah.
know she wouldn't want
Hmm.
this. She wouldn't want this.
Yeah.
She wouldn't
Yeah.
want her
Yeah. At
favorite
some
son
point, you
alone at
have to
Christmas.
say, yeah, I mean, at some point you have to say, okay, you can do this. I mean, they're not going to agree to a lot of things. There's always going to be some caution there, but at some point there's because he has done nothing really to cause them to want to, prevent him from doing this. He should be allowed because it would drive him to probably do things that Harry is doing. We know Harry's really upset about the things that have happened within his own family, and look what he's done. Andrew hasn't done these things, so yeah, you don't want to drive him to do something that would not be good for your family, the royal family. So give the man a little bit of grace with that. I believe
Yeah.
that would be okay.
Okay. Well, we're in a similar place on that. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.